Tonight, the world is on notice, emboldened by the military strike in Venezuela and the capture of its leader, Nicolás Maduro. President Trump is now threatening several other countries. He's warning that they could be next.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. You have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
It's all part of Trump's bid for the Western Hemisphere dominance. But just how far is he willing to go to achieve that? Here's what his top White House advisor, Stephen Miller, had to say.
The United States is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us, to hoard weapons from our adversaries, to be able to be positioned as an asset against the United States rather than on behalf of the United States.
Now, just imagine that he was talking about China, and then you see Taiwan is gone.
I just said that.
By that rationale.
How does that make any sense, though? Because China and Iran and Russia, they just lost a strategic partner in the Venezuelan
let me explain.
dictator.
Let me explain why it makes
Really?
sense. Let me explain why it makes sense. His rationale is we're a superpower and we can do whatever we want in our hemisphere. China says we're a superpower, we can do whatever we want. Why would we let Taiwan sell natural
Wait, you're
resources?
talking about the Iran whose nuclear facility was just neutered and World War III did not erupt?
I'm talking about China
the Monroe Doctrine.
This is a triad.
I didn't say, hold on.
This is the new axis of evil, right? They all work together. They're all in cahoots.
Hold on, Caroline. Let's just take one at a time, okay? You're Taiwan, and suddenly China says, we're not going to let you sell chips to the United States. Why would we let you sell chips to an adversary? You're in our hemisphere. You're in our backyard. We're a superpower. We're going to just take you off the map. He seems to be laying the predicate there, Stephen Miller, since he's making policy in this White House. He's laying the predicate there for any country that sees itself as a superpower to do exactly what we just did. So how do we stop that?
But again, you're forgetting that those adversaries you just mentioned are already neutered by Trump's very strategic
China is
strikes.
neutered? How?
China's neutered because now one of its partners, Iran, is neutered because they all work together. They all collaborate pretty well.
China is neutered because Iran is neutered.
You think the message of this operation is that China will be empowered to attack Taiwan?
I'm just asking you to take what he said to the logical conclusion.
The logical conclusion, according to President Trump, is that he thinks we're in a new Monroe Doctrine where we control Western Hemisphere, China gets Asia, Russia gets Europe, and we split the world into three parts. Now, that makes no sense because in the 21st century, oceans are highways, not borders. But it's also a bastardization of what James Monroe must be turning in his grave right now because the whole Monroe Doctrine was about anti-intervention. It was about anti-colonialism. It was about Latin American countries being independent and sovereign.
How is this colonialism or imperialism? We don't exercise any sovereignty over Venezuela.
He said we're running the place and we're going to take their oil. That's the definition of it.
He's exercising leverage over Maduro's deputy, which is a good thing because, as you pointed out rightfully, she has a lot of skeletons in her closet and she's very much part of the
point
regime.
Is, when China goes to the third world, they come with economic offerings and benefits and infrastructure, and we say, if you don't give us everything you got, we're going to kill you, okay? Which of those do you think is going to work over the long term?
Can we just back up?
Do you know the Colombian president's poll numbers have gone way up in the last week?
Can we back up just a little bit?
He's the most popular leader now because of what Trump did. He's actually bolstering his enemies and driving them into our enemies' arms.
Let's back up just slightly because you're right. But also one of the
That's the opposite of what he wanted to do.
But that's also one of the problems with this foreign policy that dates back. Nothing happens in a vacuum. And when we go back and we look at Elon Musk, for example, and we look at USAID, one of the problems that many people had when we talked about foreign policy was the fact that we actually had some soft power, right? We would go into these countries. We would do things like develop these programs, things that China is doing in this hemisphere that they still will be doing, things that China's doing in Africa, which we've advocated. We pulled ourselves out. So where is China growing their influence? Now, is China weaker because they lose 10% of their oil reserves? Yes. What does that have to do with the debt that our debt that China holds? Not much of anything. Is China still a superpower? Hell yeah. Will they flex their muscle against Taiwan? You bet against that if you want to. But I think we also have to look at a foreign policy that's run by tweet. We have a foreign policy that is disheveled. You all don't even have talking points about what the objectives were for kidnapping Nicolás Maduro. And the last part about it is, to your point, if Democrats have to hammer this, and stop writing these long ass tweets and essays. Like he is choosing Venezuelans over Americans. He's choosing Caracas over the needs of these people, of our soybean farmers. We are actually talking about Greenland instead of inflation.
Right.
Like we're talking about invading other countries.
Saturday he said we're going to spend billions of dollars rebuilding their infrastructure, right? This is a man who campaigned largely as an isolationist, who campaigned about pulling back and ending conflict. And in the first year of his administration, we've bombed Iran, Yemen. Now we've gone after Venezuela, as well as many others. I mean, this man doesn't see a problem that
Nigeria
that he doesn't think he can bomb his way out of or use the military to do. And frankly, I'm sorry, as a 3-time combat veteran in Iraq and Afghanistan, I bristle when a 5-time draft dodger bangs the war drums in Washington, D.C., because when elites bang the war drums in Washington, D.C., what happens is some young kid in a rural town in middle America, in places where I grew up, has to pick up a rifle, jump into a tank, jump into a helicopter, and do the tough thing. It's never Donald Trump. It's never people like Stephen Miller. They never have to do this the tough stuff. It's people like me and the people that I grew up with that have to do it. And America, again, is over all of this, right? They want peace. They want restraint. They want people to be smart about the use of power. Yes, they want toughness, but they want smart toughness.
Let me play a little bit more from Stephen Miller. This is where he decries that after World War II, we've been abiding by, the rules that we created after that war. Listen.
For years, we sent our soldiers to die in deserts in the Middle East to try to build them parliaments, to try to build them democracies, to try to give them more oil, to try to give them more resources. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging and engaging in these vast reparation schemes.
I mean, it's hard to know exactly what he's talking about, but he seems to be lamenting the idea that after World War II, we created a global order in which we said, hey, countries, don't run around invading each other. Don't depose people just because you can. Why is that such a bad thing that he wants to be gotten rid of?
So again, I say this with all due respect to your service, sir, and the perspective that you bring to this table, which I truly admire. But I really think this comes down to whether, the world, that post-World War world order was working or whether it wasn't. And if you were part of the elites in America, it was really working for you. And if you were working class, it really wasn't. Look at how far China got under that rules-based order. Look at what has been done to this country, the mass migration, the fleecing of the American working class.
Before you jump in,
comes
Bakari,
down to whether you think that crime and drugs and mass migration were bad and an emergency or not.
Batya, let me ask you to answer your own question. How has the United States done since World War II? How have we done?
Well, we did great until 1971.
No.
Starting in 1971,
no, seriously, answer
the
your own
elites
question.
got very wealthy,
how are we
and they
doing,
ate up 60% of the GDP.
How are we doing right now vis-a-vis the rest of the world?
I don't care about the rest of the world, Abby. I care about the American working class and the American people. I'm answering your question.
You just suggested that it was such a bad thing for the United States.
Yes.
We are
Deaths of despair,
the number one superpower in the world. We are the top economy in the world. We are the guarantor of peace in the world.
The top 10%
Hold on.
have eaten up
I understand it.
60%
Listen,
of the GDP.
income inequality is a huge problem, but there is no question, none at all, by any objective measure, that the United States was not the greatest beneficiary of the world order that we created after World War II.
Whose kids died of a fentanyl overdose,
respectfully,
Abby.
we're not asking the
sorry,
right. Respectfully, we're not asking the right.
for everybody.
Bakari, can you just give me a second?
Sure.
Thank you. Batya.
Yes.
Listen, there is income inequality in the world. There are drug overdoses and deaths in this country that are way out of control. But we're talking about the big picture of where we were at the end of World War II and where we are today. And the United States has guaranteed peace, prosperity, and security around the world for that entire period of time. And we have done it and been the primary beneficiary, not China, but us.
I want to answer.
The question I'm asking you and Stephen Miller is, what time period exactly are we going back to? Are we talking about colonialism?
Okay.
Do we want colonies? Or we want to invade Greenland? We want to steal it from a NATO ally? We want to dissolve NATO? What are we doing?
All right. So starting in 1971, working class wages stagnated. So working class people are making around the same amount of.
You think that's because
I want to answer your very good question.
But you think that that's because after World War II, we told countries to stop invading each other?
Starting in 1965, we implemented a policy of mass migration to where the percentage of foreign-born Americans right now is higher than it's ever been in American history. That led to the disinheritance of the American working class that is very tied to our foreign policy.
So your code word of policy of mass migration is really what you're talking about, is that we stopped saying that only Europeans could come to the United States.
To China.
I'm just trying to decode for the Americans.
We offshored manufacturing to China.
I'm not into the euphemisms here. If you're talking about 1965 and mass migration, what you're talking about is a policy that said that you don't have to be from Europe to come to the United States. You can be a talented person, a person with potential from anywhere in the world.
All the immigration restrictions before that were on Europeans, like Jews, who they didn't let in.
Can we go back to the topic?
So that's not right. It's not about race at all. It's not about Europe. It is about the difference between being an American and not being an American. And we sold that difference out through that post-war world order. And that is why people vote for Donald Trump.
The question is wrong. The question is wrong. The question is wrong. And the reason the question is wrong, respectfully for the past conversation, is because people at this table are attempting to articulate that somehow the working class in America has had a rough go at it, right? That's your argument, the working class. My question to you is, how does a presence of America in Honduras, in Colombia, in Cuba, or in Greenland help working class Americans?
Well, I can answer it
question.
for Venezuela.
Okay, well, I'll answer it for you. If the regime is more stabilized, and I just said before that we do have a large amount of leverage over Maduro's deputy, even though she still represents a communist regime. But if it's more stabilized, there will be less migration pushed by poverty. I mean, they might have a chance at prosperity now.
But you didn't even do regime change. Right, and you just articulated
when we went through the stable. What do you mean by stable?
It's the same government.
It's Maduro's government. So what's more stable?
We have leverage over that government now because we just abducted the dictator and took him to the United States.
But you recognize that
minimal casualties to anyone.
But you recognize that the problem with the Maduro regime wasn't just Maduro, right?
It's
the whole regime.
That's why
it's the whole regime that's predicated on oppression, violence, narco-terrorism, the whole thing, right?
Listen, I don't think it's long-term sustainable to keep the deputy there. However, we've already seen Maduro's deputy say that she's going to start possibly putting resources on the free market, maybe implementing market reforms. That means communism could eventually end in Venezuela, which means less migration to America, which means less downward pressure on Americans' wages, which means less disenfranchisement of the working class
they're taking our jobs.
America.
Okay, they're not.
Wait a minute.
But hold on, can we back up real quick?
They're taking our jobs,
Can we back up 1 second?
So
our argument...
Well, they're not taking his job. They're taking working class jobs.
Blue-collar working class jobs.
So your argument to the hardworking middle-class American in, say, Detroit, Michigan right now, right, who is struggling for groceries, right, whose car insurance has gone up, whose health care prices have gone up, who don't have access to quality care, whose schools are failing, is that by going into Venezuela and taking the leader and abducting him, right, then maybe actually having pressure on the regime that he had installed in Venezuela will change something in Venezuela thereby eliminating some of the migration and migrationary pressures is going to help you survive in Detroit?
It's less competition.
You know,
with
there are
that
500,000
yes, and
illegal
also,
Venezuelans
it's not
living
just
in America
competition.
because
It's
of
strained on our
Maduro.
social services and resources. Migration does cost Americans
we
a
don't-
lot, especially when it's unfettered like it was under the
So
Biden
let me ask you,
administration.
would you like-
All right.
Hospos, schools, public services?
I find this-
We
We
do have to go to break. We do have to go to break. Next for us, it's the Secretary of Defense against a highly decorated Navy veteran and senator, how the Pentagon now wants to make one of its own pay for speaking out against the White House.